Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing today? So, coming to you with another video, as promised. I think we're gonna name this video either "Seeking the Seeker" or somewhere around there. My last video, I talked about the awakening in my process of coming into this realization of this layer of reality, and I wanted to talk about today of the struggles or the just the ins and out of how I started when it came down to actually researching and actually trying to find out um, about the craft, about witchcraft, about the different magical systems and the different divination systems and all that, and just all the different paths that's out there, the paths that are out there, and maybe give a few book reviews. I have some here that I have with me. I don't really have all that I had back when I first started out, uh, due to moving and damaging books and floods and all that. Don't really have all that I had. So, yeah. But starting out for me, when you first start, researching out on the World Wide Web, it gets a little bit, overwhelming. But once you find your first little crumb, and then there's another one, and then there's another one, and all of a sudden you overeat overnight. Like you just literally just start eating and eating and eating and eating, and one breadcrumb leads to a full table of food, a whole buffet. And for me, I think it was better back then when we had so many good people on YouTube who were like, I can't remember the names. I know like Tiptoe Chick was one. Lady Grave Dancer is still here. She's one of the old ones. But you had a lot of people on YouTube teaching. I mean, it was more Wicca, Wiccan stuff versus witchcraft. The old traditional one, or even the new eclectic, neo-pagan type of witchcraft. It was still very different, and everybody had their own type of practices, and it was more peaceful. There really wasn't a lot of wars going back and on, going back and forth and all that. Not well, not too many, at least. But then there was a lot of new people that came in and went, left their little golden nuggets around here and there. I remember there was one dude who lived in New Orleans. He just moved there, and his father built this cabinet, this bookshelf, this shelf to put his herbs in, and it was, it was a like little cupboard holes that he had, and like the wall was huge, and his father made the whole thing, and it was like a really big long wall, and on the top he had like a very long altar for certain things, for spell work to sit, to brew, and all that stuff on. And then he had his herbs in there. Then he had like a little altar on the floor. Then he had a couple of altars in his room. Can't find the video anymore. I absolutely love his setup and his energy. Oh my god, I love it. But that's what happens when you get on YouTube. A lot of people start fighting, or a lot of people start repeating the same stuff over and over and over again. People just kind of die out, especially with all the trolls that come on, and then you got people fighting in the witchy community thinking that they're supposed to be different. We're all flawed. So that's just some people's mindsets coming in, and that's another thing. Like, just because we're on this magical path does not mean that we automatically have this divine wisdom. We have to earn it. We have to study it. We have to practice it, and really incorporate into our lives, because once again we are all flawed, and nobody's perfect. And that's another thing, just coming into this craft. You really have to, I guess you kind of have to get into the craft and kind of fall on your butt first before you can start noticing certain things. unless you watch my video and you are already forewarned. But yeah. And let's say another thing that happened was with this whole fluffy thing that went on back then, and still even like a little bit now today, where people want to either dictate you on how you should practice your magic or where you should start out at. I mean, that's kind of like a double-edged sword. You can't really tell people to be themselves, but do it your way. I don't I really don't understand that method of you sitting over here telling people that their magic is their own. You create your own reality and all this and that, but yet you have to do it this way. It really doesn't make any sense. But at the end of the day, some of it can be a little bit far-fetched. You have to be more realistic in reality with it. But it's just, that was also something that went on, with the whole fluffy thing, and you do get the new beginners coming in asking those random, same, repeated questions over and over and over and over again, and it does get a little irritating, a little, but that's all part of their growth and even your growth, because there is going to come a time where you're going to have to teach what you know, even if it's giving advice, something very little, something very small, you're going to have to end up giving back what you have already been given. Because this is a journey, and there are ways to follow it. There are different paths, different traditions to go on, but like, everybody needs a little bit of help, and that's another thing. People want to sit there and make it seem like you can't ask questions. Like it's not part of the research. If a person wrote a book, that same person can answer your questions. It's still research. Just because they wrote it down in a book and you study the book, I mean, it's research, but that's not the only form of researching. People can be your source of research. I mean, they wrote the book. So I mean, in old traditions, it was always passed down by word of mouth. So it's just you get into a lot of stuff with a lot of people in the community, because once again, we're all flawed. So yeah. What else I want to talk about? Oh yeah, another thing. Intuition is a very strong, important, potent, and a really firm root in this thing that we like to call spirituality, and in your path. So you really have to follow on your intuition. Like, you need to learn how to decipher your intuition versus your crazy thoughts, or your little crazy, wacky little trains of thought. You have to decipher between your thoughts and other people's thoughts, and what you want and what other people want, and what society wants, and what your mother wanted, or whoever raised you, and all this and that. Like, you really got to focus on your intuition, because you have to hone in to that ability to be able to decipher between what's right for you and what's wrong and what's bad and what's negative and what's no longer needed. So, with that being said, on this path, you can really get misled by some people, because there are people out here who are cons or charlatans who want to sit there and tell you certain things that they really don't know nothing that they really don't know nothing that they're talking about. And then sometimes they speak truths that is only for them and not for others, or only for a few others and not everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't sit there and come to this path and get on Facebook, YouTube, whatever, and start spewing out stuff in a way that's like, my way is the only way, it's the right way, your way is wrong. It's no, you're doing it wrong. You can't do that. And so you meet a lot of people on here who sits there and tells you that you can't do certain things. And even though I'm on here telling you that you can't do certain things like that, it's once again that double-edged sword. But once again, it's also about deciphering between, you know, putting things in categories, seeing what you need to focus on and what you don't need to focus on. If it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We are all energy workers. We weave the energy that is around us to create our own reality. And so, what works for me may not work for you. How your mindset is that allows your energy to manifest the way it does may be different for somebody else. So, like Lady Gravedancer said, somebody had told her not to use tourmaline in a love spell. Well, why would you want to use tourmaline in a love spell? Sometimes people can't find love because they got a lot of negative debris in their psychic mind or in their energetic fields to where they either sabotage the love that they find or they push off all the good people in their lives and they attract that same energy that's on the surface of their aura or of their energy field. So they attract these, leeches, these people who are not good for them. So maybe you might need tourmaline to help you decipher out all the bad and to be able to focus on the good. And a lot of people come in and, between childhood and what somebody else said or how somebody else's life is, you think that this is love. So therefore you may need tourmaline to quiet out all the noise, all the static, so you can focus on you for that love magic to work. It's all about how your mindset is and how you can weave the energies that is around you and that is given to you. Yeah. But you meet a lot of different people. You meet a lot. You get this little wave of knowledge. You got a lot of topics to learn. You have a lot of abilities to develop and manifest, and you yourself is going to go through so many different changes over the years because you are going through a spiritual alchemical transformation. It's going to take some time. Nobody's perfect. Some people are old souls, some people are new souls, some people are in between, some people are not even from this plane. Their zodiac signs and all their astrology, natal birth charts and all that. Everybody's made up of a lot of different things. So therefore, you're going to meet a lot of different people, and they're going to be going through different changes. They might be different in 6 months. They may not. Hopefully they are, but they may not. And then maybe you are changed within 6 months. Hopefully you are. Then again, you may not. You should be. But I can't tell you your own spiritual growth. I'm just saying, that's the proximity, like a percentage. You should be within 6 months, should have learned something new. Maybe not. That's your struggle. That's your life path. That's how that's your journey. The fool's journey. And I want to get on here and talk about divination too. That should be like a whole 10, 20 episode. I can't. But yeah, back to seeking. Seeking out knowledge is very hard sometimes because you do have a lot of the fluff. You do have a lot of the fluff as in, just it's more light knowledge, like it's not really potent. It's not really of any substance. It's something that you can find anywhere. Like anywhere. And then you got the fluff that's not really real per se, or it's in their mind that they're not communicating it correctly to the public. So therefore it gets lost in their own little webs of thoughts and so on and all that. That's why I try to articulate my word and make sure that I'm speaking clearly and give lots of examples, so on and so forth. Straighten this out. But yeah, so the books. It's about 14 minutes, 15 minutes. Yeah, let's start with the books. Is that all that I want to talk about? Yeah, pretty much. I might come back and do some more videos. I just really want to get these videos out just to get the energy out there so I can, keep it flowing. Not trying to, I'm a Virgo and I can be a bit of a perfectionist. So I can't really do all that right now. So I'm just putting out the videos that I can put out. That's the best that I can do. Um, but yeah, some of the books that I started out, uh, these are probably not the exact same books, but they are within like the first 2 years. Because I bought some of these. I got 3 right here. I have others, but they weren't like, you probably really shouldn't start off with spells per se. You should start off with the philosophy behind magic and witchcraft, and the traditions and the different cultures and the folklore behind it, because there's other different kinds of witchcraft other than, there's other things to witchcraft other than spells. Excuse me. But yes, and these books are not necessarily, once you get into the craft, once you start studying more, once you start getting adapt to it, these books become very childlike, very fluffy. As far as is that the wording, the philosophy behind it is very on the surface. You're not really getting no substance once you've been in here for about a few years or about a good year. Okay, but this book right here, hopefully that's not backwards or upside down or nothing like that. I mean backwards, my bad. But this is The Witch's Book with the Dead by Christian Day. It's a good book to start with. Uh, it will get you in the mood. Like it'll open the doorways for those types of energies to flow for you to start studying and get you intrigued and keep you progressing on your journey. Another one I got. This is more of like a recipe book, but I still love it because you may or may not be the kind of person to study the planets or the zodiacs or the hours of the days or the days of the week and all about the energies and the phases of the moon. But this is the Herbal Alchemist Handbook by Karen Harrison. I love this book. This is my go-to book for a lot of different things because I like to keep certain energies involved with a lot of my recipes and all that. Yeah. I might do some more book reviews. I really don't want to do it in this one because it's about 18 minutes long. But I'll probably do some book reviews later on, maybe like a different series. Once I get these set of videos that I have already written out, then I might come back and do some book reviews because I do want to get into the more advanced, the more, get into the deeper layers of magic and witchcraft and of spirituality and of divine and divinity and all that. Because I myself is using this platform to study. This is helping me study. It's like, something that forces me to bring about that change a little bit more substantial, a little bit more stable, firm, just something to really get me through those barriers that I need to do. Get through. But this one right here is the Grimoire for the Green Witch by Anne. I think that's Mora. But yeah, I love this book too. It's just filled with a lot of stuff. Like I say, some of these may repeat. They probably are going to repeat, but they're good to study and to start off and to get you into those energies that will cuff you and cocoon you into something so you can spread out. It's like into so it can cocoon you into those energies that you need so you can burst out into the caterpillar into the butterfly that you are. See, I gotta get used to talking to a camera and articulating my words. It's just some of the other books that I got, I have on like PDF what's the Witch's Bible by Janet and Stuart Farrar. I think I'm saying that right. May not. Excuse me. You got the book of Spirit Communication by Buckland. You got the complete book of Witchcraft by Buckland as well. That's a good one. Both of those are good ones. You got the book of Witchcraft by Cunningham. I am a particular fan of Christopher Penczak. I love all his books with the inner temples of witchcraft and all that. I love it. But this one that I got here was the Sons of the Goddess. Because I'm a male. Even though I'm gay, I have a lot more masculine energies. Well, not a lot more. It's just more on the surface. We'll talk about that in another video. I have the Grimoire of the Apprentice Wizard. That's another one. That's the one I really started off with, because for some reason I was drawn to that book. So that's kind of like the very first book that I bought or downloaded. This next one is a little bit more advanced per se. Not really, but it's good reading. Simon Necronomicon. I think I'm saying that right. Simon Necronomicon. Necronomicon. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, this next one, Studying Aleister Crowley, is a little bit more advanced. It is, but it will still it's still good reading. Like, that's probably like an intermediate type of reading. It goes into advanced per se if you want to give it levels. You really can't, but just to give it levels for the public to understand. But this is Magic Without Tears by Aleister Crowley, and I love this book. I mean, I just really want to talk more about it. I just don't want to get too long because it's about 23 minutes. But the Encyclopedia of 500 Spells by Judika Isles. Love that book. Now, I don't want to tell you how to do your magic or how do you do your spells or whatnot, but you should really, when you buy these kinds of books where there are spells in them, you really want to, you got to study up more for you to be able to weave your own type of spells together. Now, you got to know what herbs, what colors, what they mean for you. You have to go on this huge journey within yourself. And that's the next video, the video after next, I can't remember, but this book right here, these 500 spells by Judika Isles, you take those spells and you make it your own. That way you adding your energy and you're not trying to study or put together these compounds of energies that you did not create yourself, because you are a weaver and you are unique only to you. You may be similar. You may be very, very similar to somebody else. That's why spells works a lot for other people, because they can copy and they can just their energy works like that. But a lot of times when people want to give up, or people who get out here and say, oh, this shit don't work, are normally the people who have to dive a little bit deeper within themselves and study up on their own version of magic, their own turns and mindsets and philosophies on magic and how it works. They are the people who have to work a little bit harder to get to where they want to manifest their own realities. But this book right here is very good for you to start off with your own spells. If you want to start off with something, just make sure that you make it your own. Study up on these herbs. There are lots. I'm slacking off on them. I really want to become an herbalist, but it's just so much stuff to learn. It's just very overwhelming, and I'm trying to organize it all on this page, on this channel right here. So hopefully me and you can have a good relationship, positive relationship, even with criticism, a positive relationship to where I grow as you grow and we bounce off each other. So that's all I have today. This video is going to take a long time to upload, so hope you guys have a nice day. I'm probably will have a nice day. I bring forth positivity and creativity to be around me in today. Also, I will come back with another video. I think it's going to be the inner journey of a witch, because that's something that we also need to talk about. It's different from the awakenings. It's different from you going through this the seeker phase. You know, it's, well, not phase, but this, you know, this chapter is very different. And as you go into your inner self, then I will do another video after that called shadow work. And a lot of people don't do shadow work. A lot of people think shadow work means dark magic or black magic or something negative. You dealing with your own shit when you do shadow work. You're working out all the noise, all the static with shadow work. But I'll talk about more of that in another video. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a very blessed day, darlings. So, bye-bye.